Conor McGregor once stated, "I've lost my mind in this game, like Vincent Van Gogh, dedicated his life to his art and lost his mind in the process." Success can be defined by many variables. Anyone can define their own idea of success, and others may not understand it. The beauty of success is that anyone can create their own picture of it and make it come to life. The movie Whiplash truly depicts this philosophy. Directed by Damien Chazelle, Whiplash is about Andrew Neiman, a young drummer destined to make his own dream of success come true, along with his experience with a mentor named Fletcher who helped him get there. This description of the movie can be very black and white, and almost too simple for the actual meaning of the movie, but this interpretation is what many people tend to believe and comprehend. Whiplash can be seen as an inspirational movie that showcases the come up of Andrew Neiman in his drumming career. But the true meaning of the movie lies in a much darker space that many people tend to miscomprehend. Andrew Neiman's normal life embodies not just a drummer seeking to achieve greatness, but also the life of a normal person. At the beginning of the film, Andrew goes to the movies with his father, and they share popcorn. Humility can be seen in this clip as he lets his father mix raisinets with the popcorn even though he doesn't like them. Andrew also has common characteristics that the audience can relate to. This can be seen through his experience when trying to ask out Nicole, a girl who works at the movie theater. He is a timid and socially awkward guy that heavily portrays his innocence. Furthermore, Andrew is a hard worker, which is something that everyone strives to be. He practices his drums every single day and can be seen in one of the opening scenes where he is in a white t-shirt in a room that has bright lights draped over him. In the same scene, Fletcher marches out of the dark hallway wearing all black and interrupts Andrew's practice while introducing himself. The color tone of this scene shows Andrew's innocence and the soul he has before embarking on his journey to greatness through the shadows of Fletcher. Terrence Fletcher is a mastermind of a mentor. He drives excellence out of his students by pushing them beyond their limits, allowing no room for error. This all sounds like an exceptionally motivated instructor who wants nothing but success from his students. But is this really who Fletcher is? There are many scenes in the movie where Fletcher demands greatness. In one of Andrew's first sessions with Fletcher's musical group, Fletcher notices that someone is out of tune. He goes on a massive rant trying to figure out who's out of tune, brutally questioning his students and embarrassing them in front of each other. He even goes as far as to kick out the student to prove his point. In the end, this student wasn't even out of tune, and Fletcher justified this by saying it's bad enough that he didn't know that he was out of tune. Meanwhile, the student who was out of tune got to stay inside the band. This shows how gruesome Fletcher is and how abusive his teachings were. It also showcases authority and the power that he has over his students. With this idea in mind, it's almost guaranteed to know that Fletcher does other evil things. In a scene not so long after, Fletcher pulls Andrew to the side for a word of encouragement. He calms Andrew down and lets him know everything is okay and reassures him that he has skills to be there. This shows that he's a good mentor, right? This enlightens Andrew and leaves him inspired for the next session. Moments after this, Andrew messes up while playing and Fletcher throws a chair at his head. Fletcher's teaching style is disoriented, confusing, and abusive, and it only gets worse as the movie goes on. Living a life so dedicated to drumming and impressing Fletcher, Andrew does everything he can to perfect his craft. He soon moves out of his room to sleep in his studio so he can have easy access to his drumming kit. He dumps his girlfriend, and he justifies it by saying he wants to be great, while also stating that she is a burden to his drumming. He then starts to live recklessly, choosing to put drumming over his health and his family. In a scene, Andrew forgets his drumsticks moments before a show, and with a mentor like Fletcher, he rushes to grab them without second guessing it. This causes him to get in a car accident, and without calling for help, he runs to his performance to not be late. With his body weak and bloodied, he doesn't perform well and he cannot finish the show. This leads to Andrew attacking Fletcher on stage and cussing him out while getting kicked off of the jazz group. This spirals Andrew into a deep time of questioning. Were all of the sacrifices worth it? Is Fletcher out to get me? Am I really striving for greatness? And am I actually happy? The final scene of the movie is one of the most impactful moments of cinema. It takes place on stage where Andrew is given a second chance by Fletcher to showcase his skill and performance on a pro stage. This is Andrew's dream. This is everything that he's worked for. This is what he thought Fletcher promised him. In a dramatic turn of events, Fletcher gave Andrew the wrong set of music, and Andrew made a fool of himself on stage and didn't know the group was playing. Andrew rushes off stage and is greeted by his worried father and embraces him in his arms. And he's ready to take Andrew home. In this moment, Andrew finally has a choice to make. Should he choose his family and his own life and turn his back towards drumming and Fletcher? Or should he pursue the success in his dreams of his to impress Fletcher and become one of the greats? Andrew turns his back to his father and rushes back on a stage. He dramatically changes the song to Caravan, a song that Fletcher heavily drilled into Andrew. Andrew played a perfect performance that impressed Fletcher, a performance that had him genuinely excited and even satisfied. Fletcher even helped him cue in other instruments while he ferociously kept drumming. A key moment in this scene was when the camera pans out and captures his father's live reaction to his son's performance. Despite Andrew's stunning performance, his father doesn't have a proud look on his face, and is even terrified of the monster that Fletcher created. He doesn't see a soul in his son, and it even appears as though his son is possessed by Fletcher's demon. It leaves the audience disturbed, and portrays the darkness that Fletcher gives off. It shows how powerful Fletcher is to his students and how brainwashed Andrew is by his unattainable dream. The final scene consists of Andrew making eye contact with Fletcher, while they both smile in unison. Fletcher even gives Andrew a nod of approval. Andrew sacrificed so much for this moment, all of it to satisfy Fletcher, and although it looks triumphant on the movie, it is truly a sign that Andrew gave in and lost his soul and mind in the process of achieving greatness. This leads to the conclusion that although many people believe this movie is motivational and portrays a story of perseverance and success, it really shows the dark cost and sacrifice of achieving greatness.